Mark Fields in the CEO seat for about 3 years, and the stock, if you look at Ford's stock performance over that time, fell about 40% in value. How much of that was a factor in his departure? Why is he not the right man to lead Ford ahead?
Well, Mark did some great things for us, and he led us to record profitability, which gives us now the flexibility to move forward with our plan. But these are times of great, great change. I mean, if you just look at the technology that's coming into our industry, the competitors that are coming into our industry, not just from the automotive side, but from the tech side, we really need transformational leadership. And in Jim Hackett, he's done it before several times.
He's also from outside of the company. He ran Steelcase. You saw Al Mulally was from outside of the company. Dan Akerson was from outside of the company. So there's a trend there, whereas Mark Fields, has been with Ford for 28 years. When you look at the way that Ford is working to try to compete against Tesla, against Google, against all of these competitors in the tech space, you've got Tesla now worth more than Ford, but Tesla sells 5% the number of cars that Ford sells. I mean, what is the market responding to right now, and how do you catch up, at least in the eyes of the market?
Well, I think a lot of it is clarity of communication and being able to articulate the vision and then deliver against it. And so, and that's what we have to do going forward. We've been working on autonomy for 10 years. We've I gave a TED talk in 2011 about how our industry was going to change and how it had to change, and it's all happening now. So I very much like where we're positioned. I think we've been investing in exactly the right things. We just need to get quicker and more agile and be able to tell our story with a little more clarity.
I'm drawn to something. One of the first things that Mark Fields said to me and reiterated in subsequent interviews shortly after he took over as CEO 3 years ago, talking about autonomous vehicles, driverless cars, he said, quote, "We won't be the first with a driverless car, and we don't want to be the first." Looking back, was that a mistake, Bill?
Well, it's interesting, Poppy. We feel like today we are among the first. And I don't know who's going to be actually 1, 2, 3, 4 when it gets out there. But we'll be in the leadership group. I think what's important, though, is how are those vehicles used? What are the business models around those vehicles? What's the software developed around those that will enable the customers' lives to be better? And I think that, we need to take a human-centric look at this. Technology for its own sake doesn't do anything. It's how does this make people's lives easier and better?
Was that part of it? Was that part of it, Bill? I mean, I interviewed Mark and you a number of times, and he was all about a mobility company, not just a car company, but he did talk about going slow and not emphasizing being first to market with driverless cars. He said we want to do it, when the timing is right and more for the masses.
Well, first of all, I don't want to be slow. We need to be quick in everything we do. But, at a certain level, it's not a race to who can get out there with the very first vehicle. It's who can do it in a thoughtful way and really add the business models around those vehicles in a way that makes sense. So, but I will leave you with this thought. Decision-making throughout our company, not just in the mobility space, needs to be quick, it needs to be agile, and we need to make tough decisions.
All right, there's a lot of enthusiasm and optimism in the market right now, but you're seeing some of that tampered a little bit because of the cloud around this administration when it comes to Russia, but also NAFTA. The clock has started ticking for this administration to renegotiate NAFTA with Mexico and Canada. Obviously, that would impact your business greatly if there were a border adjustment tax added from all that you import and all the business you do with Mexico. How worried are you that NAFTA may disappear or that it may be significantly changed?
Well, one of the things that I think is really important is that we have a voice in the administration. And in that regard, in this new construct, I'm having our government relations report to me because that's how important I think it is. But I will say this, particularly relative to virtually every other automaker, we're pretty balanced in terms of our imports and exports coming into this country and going out of this country in general. But look, there's no question that if this is done wrong, it could hurt not just the automakers, but really the entire economy, and nobody wants to see that.
So your one message to the administration on that front is, Bill Ford?
Just listen to all your constituents and recognize that there are a lot of unintended consequences But I think they're starting to understand the nuances involved here.